Morning all, I hope you're well, having a lovely start to your day. My day has started much better because the freezer is back on and it's already frozen. That didn't take long at all. So I've brought everything back up from the farm freezers. I'm going to restock this one and then get on with my day. So just talk amongst yourselves while I sort this little bit out, if you would. And very quickly, I wanted to show you that shredded cheese from yesterday. And there it is. As you can see, it all breaks up. It's all individual. Any tiny little lumps are really easy to break up. So all I do then is squeeze all the air out of the bag and move the clip down and then pop that back in the freezer for when I'm next doing some batch cooking. So today I am now going to go and make that frittata all over again, but this time I'm actually going to do it for the blog. So I'm going to do it meticulously for the recipe. I'm going to make sure everything's written down, everything's measured. I'm going to shoot some process steps, so actually some shots of the raw ingredients and of the frittata being made. Then I'm going to bake it, I'm going to shoot the final dish in a little photo shoot, then I'm going to edit the photos, then I'm going to upload them to my website, write all the copy, do all the behind the scenes Google stuff, and then I'm going to publish it and promote it across social media. And I'm not sure if I'm going to get all that done today because it's now 20 to 12 and that all takes a heap of time and energy, and I still need to edit this video today. So I might have to do this in 2 steps today and tomorrow, but I kind of just want to show you everything that goes into making a blog post because people don't really know, I don't think. So let's do that. So the first thing to do is to go and step into the office. We need to sit at the computer and just do a little bit of work there to work out what keywords we're going to use, because that will shape the whole way that the recipe is written and certainly the way that the blog post is written and that all the images are named, etc. So let me go and show you behind the scenes to how we find a keyword that we hope will rank on Google. Okay, so this is the first thing I do. So I've already had the idea for the recipe in this case because I had the ingredients that needed using up, but now I need to know what Google wants, what people are actually searching for when they look for a specific recipe about frittatas that being baked in the oven that use chorizo and use sweet potatoes. So I've used a whole range of ways of wording that recipe title, and all of these different tabs I've got open up here. This is all the different searches, and I've done more than that as well. I've been sat here for probably 30 or 40 minutes. It's really time consuming, this bit, but there's no point putting a recipe out there that nobody is searching for because that's how I used to blog way back when, but it doesn't bring any traffic to the website. So I have looked at oven baked chorizo frittata, and if we go over here, we see that we get 70 hits a month on Google, and I don't stand that much of a great chance ranking for it. These red numbers here, these are bigger sites than me that already rank for that keyword. There are a couple of things I can do to try and rank better than them, but obviously I need to bear that in mind. So that's oven baked chorizo frittata. The next one, sweet potato frittata, much bigger search volume, slightly less I think than that first one, wasn't it? Oh no, it's the same, sorry, 41. If I was doing sweet potato and kale frittata, I stand a slightly better chance at ranking for that, but I'm not doing kale. The next one, chorizo frittata, is 1,600 hits a month on Google, but it's harder for me to rank. What else do we look at? Sweet potato chorizo frittata, only 20 hits a month, so I can easily rank for that one, but only 20 searches a month. It's not really worth it. Next one, chorizo frittata with sweet potato, 0 searches a month. I might score for it, but if no one actually ever searches for it, that's kind of pointless. Next one, oven baked frittata recipe, 480 hits a month, but it's even harder to rank for that term. So what I now need to do is rule out the ones that I don't want to use, pick one, and it's not particularly clear cut. There are some things that I look for that may give me more of a chance, but ultimately we don't actually control Google and we don't exactly know what we want. If anyone else is a blogger, I'm using keysearch.co. This is a paid for piece of software. I think it's about 13 quid a month. Hang on a sec. Yeah, it's about £14 because it's an American site, I think. So it's about 14 quid with exchange rates and stuff per month. But it gives me a slightly better chance at trying to get good traffic flow to the website. So I'm going to go off camera now. I'm going to pick one of these, just process of elimination. I'm just going to close down the tabs that aren't going to work for me and then see what we end up with. Okay, I think I finally decided. That was so tricky. I'm going to go with chorizo and sweet potato frittata. It's only got a volume of 70 searches per month, but I've got a really good chance of ranking on Google with it. So I think I'm better off trying to get on page 1 of the Google search results for this term, which has only got a small volume, rather than ending up on page 30 of a term that searched lots and lots, because people never get past page 2, possibly 3, when they're looking at Google search results. So that's it. We now have a title for our recipe. So let me just scribble that down. Chorizo and sweet potato frittata. Wicked. Oh, thank goodness. Now let's go and cook. Johnny's just been and gone for his lunch, so now I'm going to put the camera back on and finish this recipe off. He obviously works pretty hard doing his job, and I do feel bad when he comes home and his kitchen, the place that he sits to eat his lunch, is like a film studio. It feels a bit mean, so I took the opportunity to go and sit down, have a cup of coffee and watch a little bit of YouTube while he had his lunch, which is quite nice. But now we're getting back to work, people, so I shall put you over here and you can keep an eye on me and make sure I'm not skiving or eating all the food. So I am bringing out the Bible today because I need something green at the end when we come to do the photo shoot, and it's probably going to have to be parsley. All I've got is curly parsley and flat leaf parsley and fennel, rosemary, thyme might work actually, but that's not going to be very vibrant green. So I'm just going to have a look in a little Bible and see what they recommend to go with chorizo and eggs, basically the ingredients. So let's have a little look. So chorizo, see, they say salty. This one isn't very salty. Well, I don't think it is. Herbs, just herbs in general, it's saying. Thyme. So I've just had a little look under parsley, and it goes with pork very well. So that's in a darker font. It also goes with Spanish cuisine, especially southern. So I'm going to go with that. We're going to have parsley. Hey, tuk-tuks. How are you, ladies? You all good? Oh, watch out, you two. Hi, Jet. You all right, girls? You little lovelies, aren't you? Oh dear, some of my sticks have fallen over in the wind. So look, the flat leaf parsley, which I've already cut back once, it's bolted and gone to flower. You just need to snap those bits off. Otherwise the plant will flower and seed and then be over for the year, which is not what we want. So we'll just grab a bit of that, and we'll grab a bit of the flat. Oops. Sorry, parsley plant. I guess you didn't need that bit. Everything is looking very green and fresh in here. Those have bolted too, so I need to come out and chop the tops of them off, because again they'll go to seed. Artichokes are looking good. See, there's a little baby artichoke happening in there. That's quite exciting. All those strawberries are flowering really well. Mum's chickpeas look good. Bless them. Oh, were they chickpeas or lentils? I can't remember. That was the Swiss chard, wasn't it? The bright lights. That's a little mange too. They need tying up. Now I've just given this a quick rinse just to get any bugs and mud off. The other thing with flat leaf parsley, another reason I like to grow this is because we can generally get leaves off the plant pretty much all year round. And these are a bit past it now. These are bolted, like that's a really big leaf. But when you get the small fresh leaves in photos, I have been known to swap out flat leaf parsley for fresh coriander, because I can't always get hold of that in the depths of winter, or because I just live a long way from a shop. So if you were to trawl through my website, please don't, you'll probably find that where I've listed coriander, or cilantro to the Americans, in a recipe, very often you'll see that it's actually parsley in the photo. Mum's the word. You lot, you're learning all my secrets, aren't you? Right, so I've got that ready for the end of the recipe, so let's just get on and photograph the next step. Now, it's a bit of a pain having to photograph a recipe right the way through, and I'll be honest, I rarely do it because it takes so much more effort. Saying that, Google loves step-by-step shots, which is why it is worth going the extra mile if you want to rank for a recipe. Yay! I caught that one mid-air. That's brilliant. Oh, it's the little things that please. Oh, I'm just going to borrow your camera because I want to take an Instagram photo of that. Look at this little knife that Johnny made me. Isn't that just beautiful? I love using this in photos. He made this handle on the lathe, and I think he made the blade, or it's an old knife that he found that he kind of remade. I don't actually use it as a knife, but I do use it as a prop in food photography. I just think it's so beautiful. This chair is so wobbly. I really should get a step ladder. And I'm sorry if it freaks you out that I have my feet on the work surface. I do clean up afterwards, I promise. Perfect. There we go, friends. We are done. Well, no, we're not done. We're just done with this part. We've still got a lot more to do for this blog post. So next I need to go and edit these photos, of which I'm happy with them. They're looking really cute. See how that green contrasts with the kind of reds and yellows in that frittata? So pretty. So let's now go back to the laptop and I'll show you how I edit them. Okie doke, so now I've got all those photos I've just taken into Lightroom. This is Adobe Lightroom that I pay for every month. I think it's about £10 a month. So I took 63 photos in total, and I don't know why, but I always start editing the last photo I took first. I think I do know why. It's because it feels like by the end of the shoot I kind of had the vibe of what was going on, and at the beginning, the first photos that I take, generally they're the ones that don't get used. If I'm going to hate any of them, then generally it will be those first few that I took. So I guess the final ones, they give me more of a feeling of what I was trying to kind of express, I guess. So then I just make some adjustments, and exactly the same as what I was saying yesterday about the recipes, how I hold the food in my mouth and I try and register what's wrong. If it's, if it's too spicy, or if it's too thin, or if it's too greasy, or whatever, just I try and find a word that's wrong. So I do exactly the same visually when it comes to editing photos. Now, there's nothing, in my opinion, there's nothing hideously wrong with this picture, apart from the contrast between this corner and here, because the window was this side. So we're getting all that brightness on that section of the frittata, which I don't love. So when I find the one thing that I dislike the most, I don't mind this darkness. I quite like how the parsley is quite, like, you can't actually tell necessarily what that is. You know it's green and you know it's food because it's in a food photo, but your eye's not drawn there. I quite like that. This bothers me, how bright this is. So now I'm going to go over here and just adjust the settings. So with food photos, I always bump up the texture because it really makes the photo and the food pop. I often play around with the clarity too. I'm going to bring down the highlights, and if you'll see, hopefully we'll see that that bright area there will start to reduce. If not, we can do other things with that as well. I like this open space here, but I don't like how light it is, how bright it is. So I'm going to go right down to the bottom, and I'm going to put in a bit of a vignette. Not too much. I don't want it to be obvious that I've, when you get the really solid, here, let me show you, when you get the really solid black corners, that is not the look we're going for. Just to darken those edges and corners down a bit though. I don't want people's eyes going there. Definitely not. They need to be on the food. Really liking that. This worktop, when Johnny oils it, it goes quite yellow, and I hate that. That really bugs me. But because I've been cleaning it with vinegar for months now, that's really taken that yellowness out of the oil. Overall, I'm loving that. I love the texture of these eggshells. So I'm loving that. It's a little bit moody. It's very rustic, which is definitely the look that I go for. And I don't know if you noticed, but in the pan, I didn't use the same silicone pan liner that I used yesterday when I was making, oh, sorry, not yesterday, the other day when I was making this frittata for the first time. Because it doesn't look rustic, it's like looks plasticky and nasty. So I used this white piece of baking paper instead because I just knew it would look better in photos. Then what I do is copy the edits that I've just made, and then it's much quicker. I just whiz back through the photos and I press paste. So I'm sticking all those adjustments I just made on the first photo, 3, 2, 1, and I'm just sticking them on there. Now this one, you can see how much brighter it is up in this corner, and I don't like that, so I'm going to come over here and use this little gizmo gadget. Don't even know what that's called actually. Do we have a name for that? Don't know. But I'm going to bring that over to about there, and then just tone that down on that side. What I really like about this shot is that this frittata is warm, and the background and the eggshells and the knife handle, that's all really warm, but this piece of marble is cold. You know that contrast we were talking about before? So if I'd have put this frittata onto a wooden board, you'd have completely lost that, and it would have just almost melted into the background. But because it's against something that's such a contrast, it's punching its way out of that picture. I think that's lovely. I'm just gonna bring those sides in a bit, I think. There. Oh, I like that. Just a hint of eggshells, the smallest hint of parsley. Your eye is just taken directly there. I like that. That makes me happy. Right, next one. Same. Let's see if we can go with a square image. See what happens when we take this square. I think we're going to lose too much information, the parsley and the eggs, if we go any smaller than that, and that would be a shame. And that doesn't work for me. You've got weird shadows here, you don't know what's causing that. That's uncomfortable viewing. So that's not going to work. Okay, let's skip that one because we've got one very similar to that in landscape. Let's skip that one. Let me just turn that one round and just see what we like about that for portrait. So let's paste on our adjustments. Now that's gone too dark, so let's brighten that up just a little bit. And then let's crop that just a little bit. And I'm a stickler for straight lines, like it's that little bit of OCD in me again, that if like horizon lines on pictures and stuff, if they're wonky, fries my brain. I don't love that picture, but it's okay. Yeah, I'll just skip over that one. I don't have many feelings either way for that. It's okay, it's not making me massively happy, that one. Now this is more like it, more of a lifestyle kind of shot. I like that. I'm just going to straighten that up. That's better. I love the eggshells all blurred out in the background. That's really nice. And I really like including the edge of chopping boards, or in this case a work surface. I like that very much. So let's put our little filter that we've created over it. Just going to bring the brightness down. I'm actually going to lose some of that. I think that's too much. Just keep a tiny little bit there and see if that's better. Yeah, that's kind of nice. Not loving this brightness. I like the brightness here from the door because it lights up those eggshells, but this bit here doesn't work for me, so let's try and get rid of that. Whoa, maybe not that much. That's better. Just making sure that when you zoom in you can see that it's perfectly in focus where I was focusing on. So that bit of parsley there was where I was focusing the camera, and you can see that's beautifully sharp. Anyway, this gives you an idea of how I then take each photo out of the camera and turn it into what I want to publish on the website. So I'm going to carry on and finish these up, and then I'll be with you for the next step of the process. Right, so I've just finished editing those photos. I'm just trying to export them onto my computer, and my computer has run out of storage space. Everything is slowed down. Everything goes really glitchy when it gets like this, so I need to go and clear some room. It's all these videos, they take up so much room, and so I need to go in and delete a load of footage and stuff. So this bit's going to take a while, and this bit wasn't planned for. So alrighty, so the laptop is still like having a bit of a meltdown. I'm having to delete a ton of stuff before I can get anything done. Like the whole computer just freezes when it gets too full. So, and I think that's actually how I killed my previous laptop, by actually ramming it up to the hilt with photos and videos. So I really need to be a little bit more respectful of that laptop, because that one cost a lot of money. So I'm going to tie today's video up here, beautiful people. I hope there's enough footage to actually give you something to watch today. I hope you find it interesting. If you've got any questions, obviously let me know. As always, keep smiling, look after each other, and I'll catch up with you guys tomorrow. Over and out. I wanted the chickens to say something. Better late than never, lady. See you guys. Take care.